America was built on freedom, constitutional rights that were written by our forefathers that are supposed to look out for us. And I'm assuming they knew down the road personalities were to come into play that were going to try to change our outlook and how things are done. The one thing we can never lose that our country, the United States of America, was built on was freedom. Freedom of expression, your voice, spiritual freedom, religious freedom. You can't take that away from us. That's the main thing the United States of America was built on. And for those of you that are not living under a rock and see what's happening around our country right now, and they're trying to take religious freedom away, where the government is telling you what you can and can't do to your children and how you're going to drug them, medicate them, and the government's going to decide that for you and take away your parental rights and your expression of religious freedom to say, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not putting aborted fetal matter in my kids, and I'm not going to do that. Let me raise my own kid. I don't need the government raising my kid for me. And listen, it's not about risk factors. These diseases that they're talking about are gone, and it's not because of a shot. You change the sanitation, things get better, right? We're not a third world country. So what I've noticed happening as people have seen me going on rants and putting things out there, they expect that from me because I'm a quack, right? I'm a doctor of chiropractic, which makes me a little crazy. So people expect me to do it. But what's happened over the past couple days, some very high influential people from around Connecticut have contacted me, and they want to get involved because they see what's happening and they see their American freedoms. They're trying to take them away, and they're saying, what can we do? They want to fight for our freedom. And I'm telling you, men and women worth a lot of power, worth a lot of money, that were working hard, now fed up. And then I got people who are struggling to get through. They're on Husky. They're trying to survive. They're fed up. They're fed up with their hands being tied behind their back and their freedom taken away. And I got this today from a gentleman, and I'm not going to disclose his name because one of the things is there's people that don't want to put their name out there because they feel like it could, affect their family and their business. So he threw it my way, and this is absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to read this to you. And it goes a little something like this. The Constitution of the United States First Amendment, dating back to 1791, starts off by stating, quote, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, unquote. In Connecticut in 1959, the General Assembly included the religious exemption in a bill passed that made vaccinations mandatory for school attendance. Now, more than 60 years later, our freedom to exercise our religious beliefs regarding vaccinations is being threatened in Connecticut, the Constitution State. We are called the Constitution State, and we're looking to change the Constitution. Come on. In Connecticut, we are bombarded with higher taxes. We're ranked number 2 in the country, higher cost of living, and now our constitutional rights may be taken away. Question mark, question mark. This isn't just about vaccinations. If a state can take away your people's religious rights, what else will they start to take away? Right to bear arms? On February 5th, the people must come together to show fortitude to stand up for constitutional rights. So February 5th is when the session opens up in Connecticut, and we're going to show up. We want to show up big and let them hear our voice. February 19th is actually the public hearing when you can go inside the building and speak in front of these leaders and let them know how we feel, which is huge. So February 5th, we're going to crowd the streets. We're going to make some noise. We're going to let them know we're there. February 19th, we're going to speak to them directly. So you want to come and speak? We want like 5,000 people lined up down the hallway getting ready to speak to these guys because they should just shut this down. If this passes, it will be the first step towards controlling people and certainly not the last. This is about the people versus the politicians who originally were servants to the people. Now they are backdoor dealing, self-loathing servants to the corporations. In parentheses, we got Big Pharma, who only make decisions based on increased profits regardless of the damage, hence the opioid crisis, that they do to families across the nation of theirs. It's time to make it ours again, this country. February 5th is not just a day to stand up for religious freedom, but a day to take a stand against the corporations who have been buying the country one politician at a time. We, the people, have had enough. Come join us to be heard, because we do not march for religious freedom only, we march for all freedom. God, I love this. We march for the land of the free, our constitutional right, our God-given rights. If you are pro-life, you have a choice that is religious and a moral freedom. You should have the choice on what you choose to put in your child's bodies. If you choose to put in foreign substances, aborted fetuses, and untested chemicals, that is your choice. We are advocates for our children, just as our children will be advocates for us as we age and may lose the ability to do so for ourselves. Would any one of us want the state of Connecticut making these choices? If not, this must be stopped now before this becomes a runaway train. Religious freedom is more than just freedom to worship. It is people not having to go against what they believe or value in order to conform to the government. It protects people's rights to live according to those beliefs and values, to live peacefully. The government is trying to tell people how to live, act, and think. They are trying to gain all the power. We may no longer be able to make medical decisions for our own children or ourselves. And with Big Pharma likely behind all of this, not likely, they are, swaying legislators to take away the First Amendment in Connecticut, lobbyists are at hand. What will stop them from taking away more freedoms? Freedoms are the reason many flee to America. Our parents and grandparents came to this country for this reason, the land of the free. It's the very thing that makes America strong. However, if this continues, the exact opposite will be the reason people will leave this country. If the government gets their way, we won't be able to leave without them dictating how. We the people need to open our eyes and question what's next to come. Because if this bill passes, it's likely only the beginning. Our voices must be heard on February 5th, and I'll add February 19th. The fight for our freedom begins at the state capitol. The people of the state of New Jersey said enough. Over 10,000 people stood together and fought this very fight, and it made a difference. For now. However, the media will lead you to believe only a few hundred people showed up. I was there. Thousands of people showed up. Not a couple hundred. Thousands. But we know who sponsors the media. They put fear into American people through fake news instead of the facts. We know who the media speaks for, and it's not the people. The Constitution is our God-given right. Now it's Connecticut's time to speak out. This part's in capitals. No more profits over people. Go away, Big Pharma, and take your crooked politicians with you. I was in Jersey, stood there with all the people, and it was absolutely amazing. And they didn't have enough votes to pass the bill, so the way this thing works is they pulled the bill, so the bill got killed for the day, and the next day the main man reintroduced another bill, so it's not over. They just want to keep pushing it until they think people tire out, and they're just going to weasel this thing through. Now, what you're seeing happening in New Jersey, I didn't know any of these politicians, but now all of a sudden all this information's coming out about them, and it's amazing. I don't know if you want to use the word crooked, but they do some shady things, and there's a lot of money involved, and if you don't play with me, they're going to pull you off committees, and they're going to make life hard for you because you're not scratching their back. And a lot of these young guns in Senate now are saying enough's enough. This is not what America was built on, and we're gonna change. Now, whether you choose to vaccinate your child or not, that's your choice, but you have a choice. And they're trying to take away our religious freedom. And it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Caucasian, whatever, we're all the same, we all have freedom, right? Martin Luther King marched for freedom. I can't imagine what was going through his mind, the fact that he had to do this because he had a different skin color. That's absolutely insane, but he did it. He stood up, his voice was heard, and now we can share bathrooms together. Imagine that, America. But from now, they're going to take away our choice, and they're going to start doping up our kids whether we like it or not. They're trying to mandate in Connecticut that, or New Jersey, if you're over 14 years old, you can make a decision on your own. They can walk into your school and inject you without your mom and dad knowing. That's absolutely insane. And the one thing you got to realize too, if anyone's ever seen the documentary Vax, the number one damaged, at-risk community are young black boys, where they have the highest incidence of brain damage from all these shots being flushed into their bodies. So, listen, if you want to have freedom to be able to say no to something in the United States, you got to show up in Connecticut. We have to rally together, bring your whistles, your bells, your voice, your energy at 9 o'clock in the morning, February 5th. People are reaching out. We're not going to disclose names because, I'll be the big mouth. I can care less, man, because I love my country. I love my kids. I love my family. I love my patients. I love you, and I just want to create awareness. That's what it all comes down to, because we don't want to wake up in New York. They woke up one day and they lost their religious freedom, and 26,000 kids could not go to school. Their kids got pulled out of school, and they're being forced to homeschool. What's a single mom supposed to do? What are two parents working supposed to do that they're now saying your kid can't go to school anymore? Is that what this country was built on? But you're still paying your taxes. We got to fight for our religious freedom, our First Amendment constitutional right in the United States of America. In Connecticut, it's coming February 5th. Who's going to show up? Be there at 9 o'clock sharp. Let's hold hands together. Let's sing. It'll be peaceful. The other thing you can do is call your local state rep and your state senator and let them know you know about this. You got your eye on it. We're going to watch how they vote, and we want them to vote no. Shut this thing down. Not in the constitutional state of Connecticut, United States of America, baby, land of the free. God bless you. Crank it.